All right, so we're diving into AI chatbots for business today. And this article you sent, pasted text, really caught my eye, especially how it highlights AI chatbots as a way to supercharge small businesses.
Yeah, it is pretty fascinating. This tech isn't just for big companies anymore. Smaller businesses can totally use AI to manage those customer interactions,
Mhm.
like all the time.
So does that mean no more late night emails
Yeah.
or worrying about missing a sale while you're asleep?
Exactly.
What?
Imagine, right, a potential customer ends up on your website like
Yeah.
2 a.m. and they've got a question about, I don't know, a product. Well, instead of hitting a dead end or waiting, hours for you to get back to them, they could just chat with the AI right there, ready to help. Might
Actually,
even turn that browser into a buyer.
yeah, that makes sense. Quick responses are a big deal for customer satisfaction.
Huge. And happy customers are more likely to recommend you, right?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, so it all contributes to a positive customer experience.
Yeah.
People just more likely to, recommend a business that's responsive,
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Even if that help is coming from an AI, it's all about exceeding expectations.
Right. And the article mentioned that AI chatbots can be huge time savers, which is, well, I mean, crucial when every minute counts for a small business.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where the automation comes in, right? It's like, imagine having a tireless virtual employee
Mm.
just cranking away, handling those routine tasks,
Like,
answering those FAQs, processing orders, even like scheduling appointments. It's an extra set of hands, but without the payroll.
okay, so that all makes sense, but I don't know, wouldn't those interactions feel, I guess, robotic or impersonal?
Yeah, I get that. It's a common misconception.
Mm.
But modern chatbots, they're
Mhm.
designed to mimic human interaction. You can work in personality, humor, empathy. It can be tailored, really, to match your brand voice and style.
So instead of just a generic bot, I could have one that's, I don't know, friendly and casual to
Yeah.
match the vibe of my business.
Exactly. And the best part, these AIs can go way beyond just answering questions. They can, like, analyze a customer's preferences, past behavior, even,
Monterey.
oh, yeah, and then use that info to suggest, say, complementary products or, guide them toward relevant promotions.
So it's not just customer service, it's actively driving sales.
Exactly. All thanks to natural language processing.
Which
Well,
is
it's what allows the chatbot to understand what the customer means, even if they, phrase things differently. And then, boom, it responds naturally, helpfully.
so it's not just picking up on keywords anymore. It's
Hmm.
understanding what the customer is actually asking.
Exactly. And the coolest part, the more customers the chatbot interacts with, the more it learns and adapts. So it just keeps getting better at providing those tailored recommendations and support.
Okay, so a lot to unpack there. I'll admit I was a little skeptical about AR at first, but now this is sounding pretty good.
Right.
But what about the practical stuff? Setting all this up, managing it, wouldn't that be, I don't know, complicated, expensive?
Well, that's the thing. Modern chatbot platforms, they're designed with, smaller businesses in mind, so they often have these user-friendly interfaces, pre-built templates. Makes setup really easy. You could be up and running in like hours.
Hours, not weeks?
Nope. And a lot of them offer free trials so you can test things out before you commit.
So it's not like coding boot camp or hiring a whole team of developers?
Not at all. It's really designed to be accessible, affordable, even if you don't have a ton of, tech expertise. And the ROI, oh, it can be almost immediate. Think about it. Your chatbot is handling tasks from day one. So that frees you and your team up to, focus on those higher level things.
And speaking of real-world results, this article had some great examples of small businesses using chatbots. Remember that boutique? They saw a 30% increase in inquiries and a 20% boost in sales conversions just from the chatbot.
Oh, yeah. And there was that home-based business.
Yeah.
They used their chatbot to gather customer feedback and then, boom, made some big improvements to their products. It shows how each interaction can be a learning opportunity.
Right. Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think we need to dig a little deeper into how these chatbots actually work.
Sounds good to me.
What are the features, the capabilities that make them so effective?
Okay, well, one of the most impressive things is how they can integrate with your other business tools.
What do you mean?
Well, things like your CRM, your email marketing platforms, even inventory management system.
So it's not just a standalone tool.
Nope. It can be part of this larger system, this interconnected system that can automate like a bunch of different aspects of your business.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a total game changer.
Right.
But hold on, before we go too far, I want to go back to that technology you mentioned earlier. Natural language processing,
Hmm.
NLP. It sounds really complex.
It is pretty fascinating, a rapidly evolving field.
But it's the key to how these chatbots, understand and respond to customers.
Absolutely.
So break it down for me. How does it work?
Okay, well, at its core, NLP is all about teaching computers to, understand and process human language. But it's not just about recognizing key words.
Right.
It's about understanding the meaning, the intent, even if someone phrases things differently.
So, like, if a customer asks about the return policy or what's your policy on returns, the chatbot can still figure it out.
Exactly. NLP lets the chatbot interpret all those different ways of saying the same thing and then, boom, provide the right information, just like a human would.
Okay, so that makes a lot more sense now. And you said NLP is what allows the chatbot to do those personalized recommendations and upselling opportunities.
Oh, yeah. By analyzing the words a customer uses, the chatbot can figure out their needs, their interests, even their emotional state, so it can tailor its responses and suggestions,
Yeah.
make it feel relevant and helpful instead of pushy.
So it's like having a virtual salesperson who can read between the lines, anticipate what a customer needs before they even ask.
I like that. And, the more the chatbot interacts with people, the more it learns and refines its understanding of language and behavior.
Yeah.
It's constantly learning, which is a big part of AI.
Okay, I think I'm finally getting this, but I do have to ask. What if the chatbot gets a question it can't answer? Or a situation it can't handle?
That's a great question. I think it's important to remember that AI chatbots, they aren't meant to completely replace human interaction.
Right.
It's about enhancing, your customer service efforts,
Mm-hmm.
not about eliminating the human touch completely.
So it's more about like finding the right balance, automation and human intervention, knowing when to step in and when to let the chatbot handle things.
Exactly. You can even set things up so the chatbot recognizes when it needs help. Like
Yeah.
if a customer is getting frustrated or asks something super complex,
And then,
well, then it can seamlessly hand off the conversation to a real person. Keeps everything smooth and positive for the customer.
okay, that makes me feel a lot better. It sounds like you can really customize this whole chatbot experience.
Oh, absolutely.
But how do you actually train a chatbot to be effective? It sounds pretty involved.
It can be. But the good news is modern platforms make the training process a lot easier, user-friendly. It usually involves feeding the chatbot information about your business, your products and services, customer FAQs, all that.
So kind of teaching it the basics about your business and then refining it as it goes along, as it learns from interacting with customers.
Exactly. It's a process. And the more time and effort you put into training it, the better it gets at providing accurate, helpful, and engaging interactions.
What about personality and brand voice? How do you make sure the chatbot reflects your business?
That's where customization comes in. Most platforms let you adjust the language, the tone, even the visual look of your chatbot. You can make it friendly, professional, informative, anything you want. You can even add humor, emojis, whatever fits your brand.
So you can really fine-tune its personality to match your business.
Yep. The goal is to create a seamless experience for your customers, whether they're talking to a human or a chatbot.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more confident about this now. It's pretty amazing how much goes into creating an experience that feels so natural.
It is pretty cool.
But what about the future? What's next for AI chatbots? Where is this all going?
That is a great question. And honestly, I think the possibilities are endless.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As AI gets more advanced, we can expect chatbots to become even more sophisticated, more capable. We're going to see advancements in NLP, emotional intelligence, even the ability for chatbots to understand nonverbal cues.
Like facial expressions and tone of voice.
Exactly.
That is wow. So we're talking about chatbots that not only get what we're saying, but how we're feeling.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And as those technologies get better, we can expect those interactions to become even more seamless, more human-like even. It'll be hard to tell the difference between a human and a machine.
This is all so fascinating, but I want to make sure we're giving our listeners some practical advice here. For those who are intrigued by AI chatbots, but, aren't sure where to begin, what should they do? What are some takeaways?
Well, the first step is to really think about your needs, your goals. What are you trying to solve in your business? What kind of customer interactions could you automate? Could you enhance with a chatbot?
So don't just jump on the trend because it's trendy.
Yeah. Make sure that tech actually aligns with your goals.
I like that.
Then, once you know what you want, start looking at the different chatbot platforms out there.
There are a lot, right?
Oh, tons. From simple ones to super sophisticated AI-powered ones. Do some research. Figure out what fits your needs and your budget.
And make sure it can grow with your business.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to, experiment as you go. Start small, try different things, get feedback from your customers. It's all about constantly improving.
Okay, so approach it with an open mind, be willing to learn, and focus on, getting better all the time.
Absolutely. Now, let's zoom out a little. What are the bigger implications of all this? How's this technology changing the way we do business?
Yeah.
The way we interact with each other? Man, that's a big one. And honestly, I think we're just scratching the surface. AI chatbots have the potential to completely revolutionize customer service, marketing, sales, even internal communications.
Wow.
Yeah. They can help us work smarter, communicate better, and create these really personalized experiences for everyone we interact with.
So it's not just about saving time, it's about like fundamentally changing how we connect.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so exciting and potentially transformative.
I love that. This deep dive has been so insightful. But before we go, we got to talk about the human element. How do we make sure we don't lose sight of genuine human connection as we embrace all this technology?
That is a critical point. And honestly, it's something we need to be super mindful of going forward. While chatbots can make things easier and enhance those interactions, they should never replace real human connection.
So again, it's about finding that balance, using tech to enhance our human capabilities, not replace them.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's a responsibility we all share as people, businesses, a society. As we dive into this world of AI, we need to make sure we're using it to create a better world for everyone.
Okay, that's a great message to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, I want to make sure our listeners have some actionable advice and a sense of hope for the future.
I like that.
So as we jump into this new era of AI communication, what are your final thoughts? What are your recommendations for those who are ready to explore the possibilities?
All right. Well, first of all, don't be afraid to jump in and see what you can do with this. Chatbots are becoming more accessible every day, and they really can be a game changer for businesses of all sizes.
So start small, experiment, and figure out how this technology can help you connect with your customers in new ways.
Exactly. Just remember, it's not about replacing human connection. It's about adding to it. So use AI to enhance your strengths, free up your time, and create a more personalized and engaging experience for everyone.
This has been a phenomenal conversation, and I feel like I've learned so much. I'm hoping our listeners feel the same way. Thanks for taking the time to break this all down for us.
My pleasure. And to everyone listening, I encourage you to embrace innovation and help shape the future of AI in a way that benefits us all.
Perfectly said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI chatbots. Thanks for joining us.
So before we jumped into the tech behind these AI chatbots, we were talking about how they can work with your existing systems. That connection with tools like your CRM is where the automation really takes off.
Right, you mentioned the chatbot adding new leads to the CRM. How does that actually work? What does the CRM even do?
Well, think of a CRM like a central hub for all your customer data. You can manage contacts, track sales, personalized communication, the whole 9 yards. So let's say someone's on your website and they chat with your bot, right? And they're interested in a specific product. Well, the chatbot can actually create a new contact in your CRM, tag it with the relevant info, and even trigger a personalized email, all automatically.
So the chatbot's not just handling that first interaction, it's like setting off this whole chain of marketing and sales stuff.
Exactly. And it does it all in the background. Yeah. So you save a ton of time, and nothing slips through the cracks. It frees you up to focus on the bigger picture.
I like it. Okay, now I'm really curious. This is starting to feel less like a chatbot and more like a whole business management system.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
But before we go too far, I want to circle back to that tech you mentioned, natural language processing, NLP.
Right.
It sounds kind of intimidating.
It's a fascinating field for sure, and it's changing fast.
But you said it's how these chatbots understand us, how they respond to customers.
It's the core of it all.
So break it down. How does NLP work?
Okay, well, basically NLP is about teaching computers to understand human language. But it's not just about recognizing key words. It goes deeper than that.
Right.
It's about understanding the meaning behind the words, the intent, even if someone phrases things in different ways.
So like if someone asks about the return policy versus what's your policy on returns, the chatbot can still understand.
Exactly. NLP lets the chatbot interpret all those different ways of asking the same question, and then it can give the right answer, just like a human would.
Okay, I see. And you mentioned earlier that NLP is also how the chatbot personalizes those recommendations, the upselling and all that.
Oh, absolutely. By analyzing what a customer says, the chatbot can kind of figure out their needs, what they're interested in, even their mood. So it can customize its responses, make suggestions that are actually helpful and relevant, not just generic.
It's almost like having a salesperson who can read your mind.
Yeah. And the more the chatbot interacts with people, the more data it gathers, so it gets even better at understanding human language and how we behave.
It's a learning machine.
Exactly. It's constantly learning and improving, which is what AI is all about.
Okay, this is all starting to make a lot more sense. But what happens if the chatbot, I don't know, encounters a question it can't answer or a situation it can't handle?
Well, it's important to remember that AI chatbots aren't meant to completely replace human interaction. They're more like, an enhancement to your customer service, not a replacement.
So it's about finding that balance, right?
Right. Using automation, but also knowing when to bring in a human touch.
So you can set it up so the chatbot knows when it needs help.
Exactly. Like if a customer's getting frustrated or if they ask something really complex, the chatbot can seamlessly transfer the conversation to a real person.
Okay, that's reassuring. It sounds like you can really tailor this chatbot experience to fit your business and your customers.
There's a lot of flexibility there.
But I'm still curious about the training process. How do you actually teach a chatbot to be effective? It seems pretty complicated.
It can be, but luckily, modern chatbot platforms make it a lot easier than you might think. Usually it involves feeding the chatbot info about your business, your products, services, common customer questions, and all that. Some platforms even have like pre-built templates you can use.
So you're giving it the basics about your business, and then it refines its responses as it interacts with more people.
That's the idea. It's an ongoing process. And the more time you invest in training your chatbot, the better it'll be at having those, accurate, helpful conversations with your customers.
What about personality and brand voice? We talked about that earlier. How do you make sure the chatbot matches your business?
Well, most chatbot platforms have these customization tools, so you can adjust the language, the tone, even the visual look of your chatbot. Want it to be friendly and casual, professional, informative. It's all possible. You can even add things like humor and emojis, depending on your brand.
So it can really reflect the personality of your business.
Exactly. The goal is to create a consistent experience for your customers,
Yeah.
no matter who they're talking to, whether it's a human or a chatbot.
This is all making a lot more sense now. It's amazing how much goes into creating an experience that feels so natural and intuitive for the customer.
It is pretty cool how far the technology's come.
Speaking of which, what about the future? Where do you see AI chatbots going from here?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah,
I think we're just at the beginning, honestly. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
endless, huh?
Oh, yeah. As AI technology keeps advancing, chatbots will become even smarter, more capable. We're going to see huge advancements in NLP, emotional intelligence, even the ability for chatbots to understand things like facial expressions and tone of voice.
Wow, that's incredible. So we're talking about chatbots that not only understand what we're saying, but how we're feeling. That's next level.
Yeah. And as those technologies get more refined, interactions with chatbots will be even more seamless and human-like. It'll be tough to tell the difference between talking to a bot and talking to a real person.
That's mind-blowing. Okay, so this has all been super interesting, but let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. What advice would you give to our listeners who are excited about AI chatbots but aren't sure where to start? What are some key takeaways?
Well, the first thing I would say is to think about what you want to achieve. What are your goals for your business? What are some customer interactions that you could automate or make better with a chatbot?
So don't just jump on the AI bandwagon just because everyone else is doing it.
Exactly. Make sure it makes sense for you and your business.
Okay, I like that.
Once you know what you're hoping to accomplish, start exploring the different platforms out there. There are tons to choose from simple rule-based bots to really advanced AI-powered platforms.
And I imagine they all offer different levels of features and customization.
Yep. So do your homework and find one that fits your needs and your budget. And don't be afraid to experiment. Start small, test things out. See what works best for you and your customers.
So it's all about being open to learning and constantly trying to improve.
Exactly. Now, let's zoom out a little and talk about the bigger picture. How do you think this technology is changing the way we do business, the way we connect with each other?
That's a huge question, and I honestly think we're just at the tip of the iceberg. AI chatbots have the potential to totally revolutionize customer service, marketing, sales, even the way we communicate within our own companies.
It's kind of a big deal.
It is. They can help us work more efficiently, communicate more clearly, and create more personalized and engaging experiences for everyone we interact with.
So it's not just about saving time. It's about fundamentally changing how we connect, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that's what makes it so exciting. It has the potential to really transform things.
This deep dive has been so insightful. But before we wrap things up, I want to talk about the human element. With all this amazing technology, how do we make sure we don't lose sight of real, genuine human connection?
Yeah, it is a really important point. As we weave AI into our businesses, how do we make sure it makes those human connections stronger, not, replace them?
I think it really comes down to understanding what humans and AI are each good at.
Right.
Like chatbots are awesome at those routine tasks, giving info instantly, even personalizing those interactions to an extent. But they can't replicate empathy or that nuanced understanding that humans have, that problem solving.
So it's not like humans versus machines. It's more about figuring out how they can work together.
Exactly. Think of it as teamwork. Chatbots can handle those first interactions, answer those common questions, even gather data about what customers like. And that frees up your human team to focus on the trickier stuff, provide support, build those relationships that make people loyal.
Right. So it's about using technology to empower human connection, not get rid of it.
100%. And that's where the human touch is even more important. As businesses start using these AI chatbots, they need to make sure there's a way to seamlessly transition to a human. If the customer needs something more, they should always be able to talk to a real person.
So it's not about putting up a wall between the business and the customer. It's more like using tech to create a more, I don't know, a more personalized welcome.
Exactly. And even in those automated interactions, you can add that human touch. Think about the language you use, the tone, how the chatbot responds to questions. Make it welcoming, helpful, even a bit playful, if that fits your brand.
So finding that balance between efficiency and personality,
Yeah.
a chatbot that's useful and engaging.
You got it. And the cool thing is, this technology keeps getting better. There's stuff like sentiment analysis, where chatbots can actually tell how someone's feeling from their tone.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So in the future, we'll see even more nuanced interactions. Imagine a chatbot that can tell when a customer's frustrated and offer extra help, or pass them on to a human. That's what we're aiming for, that seamless, empathetic experience.
It does feel like we're on the edge of some big changes, but I know some people are nervous about all this. What would you say to folks who are worried about how AI will change things? The future of work, human interaction, all that.
I get it. Change can be scary. It's normal to wonder how all this new tech will affect our lives. But I really believe that AI, when it's used thoughtfully, ethically, can make our lives better in so many ways.
So it's not about being afraid of what's coming. It's about being a part of it, shaping it.
Exactly. Using tech to build a better world for everyone. And that's where we, as humans, have to step up. We have to guide its development, make sure it aligns with what we believe in.
I love that. All right, so to wrap up this deep dive, what are some key things you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the biggest thing is, don't be afraid to explore what AI can do. Chatbots are getting easier to use and more affordable all the time. They can really help businesses of all sizes.
So start small, test things out, see what works for you.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about replacing human connection. It's about making it stronger. Use AI to help you do what you do best. Free up your time, create an amazing experience for your customers.
This has been an awesome conversation. I've learned a ton, and I hope everyone listening has too. Thanks for taking the time to walk us through all this.
It's been a pleasure. And to everyone out there, embrace the power of innovation. Help us build the future of AI in a way that works for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, that's a wrap on our deep dive into AI chatbots. Thanks for listening, everybody.